The Fabulous Fours. Active movement, making the connection between movement and learning to develop the whole child.
Well, let's talk about why 4-year-old boys in particular are really active. A hormone's released called testosterone, as you probably know, and testosterone makes a little boy incredibly active and need to run around and burn off a whole lot of energy. Little boys like to be almost competitive, so they like to be doing everything fast and be there first. That's okay, we just have to know how to deal with that and how to build it into their active lives. And the other thing is that little boys' vestibular systems, which is your balance system, aren't usually as well developed at this age as perhaps little girls are.
Little girls tend to do things like handstands, forward rolls and cartwheels, things that involve being upside down, and spinning. Whereas little guys tend to roll around and kick balls and all that kind of thing, which means they don't get that vestibular development. So maybe in Robert's play it would be really cool if you could get him to do some rolling down hills. You know, when you go to the park, put him on the merry-go-rounds and all that kind of stuff. And
something new for him.
Yeah.
You can incorporate exercises to develop the vestibular system into all sorts of activities.
When you're reading him a story, how about, instead of him sitting up close to you, how about him lying on the floor? So every time you turn the page, he rolls over. So he's actually doing something active while he's listening to the story.
Good boy.
And by not being able to see the pictures, Robert will have to use his imagination.
What animal do you think she can see on the tracks?
I tell you.
What animal do you think it can be on the tracks?
A pig.
A pig?
Just sending him outside to play is not terribly exciting. You need to actually go outside and play with him. Research tells us that children who have active parents are 6 times more likely to be active themselves. It's really great if you can actually stimulate some challenge for him. Can you run around this puddle and jump in this puddle? So you're giving him an instruction, and he's got to follow the instruction, but he's also having a lot of fun doing it.
Bravo, Roberto. Can you jump over this?
Talk about it with him. See if he can do it another way. And what that does is that actually helps him to problem solve. Saying something like, good, that's great, well done. It's kind of a shallow comment.
Good boy.
I did it all by myself.
All by
The important thing for you to say after that is, gee, I really loved the way you did that, Robert. You lifted your leg really high when you went over the top of that. That was fantastic.
Good. You really lifted your leg very well. Very good boy, Robert.
Are you keen for Robert to start getting into some sport?
Oh yes, definitely. He already goes to swimming lessons with his dad, but I would really like him to start practicing playing other sports.
Often Kiwi kids are encouraged to get into sport too early. And how children develop is that they first of all develop what we call fundamental movement patterns. Now what they are things like walking, running, jumping, throwing, kicking, catching, those kinds of skills. Once you've learned it, you practice it and practice and practice it. And then it becomes an automatic skill. When something's automatic, you can actually do it without thinking about it. And that's where we need all those skills to be before we can start playing sport. Because not only do you have to do that, you have to listen to the referee and understand what's right and what's wrong. Play cooperatively with other kids, which is really hard to do when you're trying to do skills at the same time. And understand what winning and losing is all about. And that's a really difficult concept to be able to teach a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or even a 6-year-old, you know. And it puts a lot of stress on children way too early. So developing all these skills to an automatic level is the most important message that I can give you, and how you do that is by practicing it.
Old-fashioned games are a fun way to do this.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Always take every opportunity to use the language of direction.
When you're going out to the mailbox, instead of just walking to the mailbox, how about walking sideways to the mailbox? Or can we walk backwards up the hill? That's how you grow children's language, by allowing them to experience it while they're doing it.
Run, run, around the tree.
4-year-olds are active and they need to be stimulated and they need to have outside play, but they need an active parent as well. So they need you to be out there doing things, challenging them, pushing them a little bit out of their comfort zones, but also keeping them safe at the same time. The problem-solving effects and the self-esteem is so important here, and if he's active and having those kinds of experiences, he's going to be a happy kid.
Good boy, Robert. Good boy, bravo, mama. Ești un băiat tare bun. I love you.